feel the negative effect of their policy, they're not going to be inclined to open their own economies up. So the president can argue with the governors about who has the authority, but as long as we're still paying the governors to keep their economy shut down, they're not going to open it back up. I think that any funding that we send to the states, whether it's directly to the states or to the people in those states, should be tied to getting their economies going back, to getting their economies opened back up. If we don't get the economy opened back up more than it is right now, you're going to see food shortages. And that's when things are going to get real here. Rich, you do great work. No, I think we'll probably be back here sooner than later. So, thank you. It's like 15 hours. Right.
There you go.
It's cool to wear a mask or what?
No, I just don't have one. I have a bandana. I have a bandana.
Alright, you should wear that.
I will.
Be safe.
Yeah.
I worry about our fiscal health as well. But getting $310 billion for small business I thought was needed, but we could have done that 2 weeks ago. And now we're talking 470, maybe more in this bill. So I think we did what we needed to do right now. And well, let's get this virus cloud passed, open up America for business, then we can reevaluate.
How much of the money do you think will come back to taxpayers in the long term?
You mean, well, with an open economy and our businesses open, hopefully that will come back. We wanted to, this is about keeping the small businesses open, and so that's my goal. And we lost, was it 26 million unemployed now?
Yeah.
I hope we can get 80-90% of that back pretty quickly, and then work hard on the rest.
And what do you think? We're going to have to do pension reform, and like you're a senator, you're Nebraska, right? Ben, he's always said everything that a politician doesn't say. We have to raise retirement age, and that. Do you think that's something that's realistic after this?
And you're talking
The Social Security, raising our retirement age up to 70.
I said that in 16, and I had $4 million in ads run on me, but I think we got to compromise. If we want to save Social Security and Medicare, we're going to have to do some Democrat and Republican proposals to safeguard it. And I don't think one or the other that's not how the system's going to work. So I do think for those who are younger, an adjustment of retirement age, but I also think raising the caps will have to be a partner. It'll have to probably be a blend.
And you're from the state of Nebraska,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, Nebraska.
Okay, so this whole thing with Smithfield's a Chinese owned thing. How serious is that? And Nebraska has to work. You can't just take off, right? You're feeding,
hey, those pigs, for everyone brought in, there's one born. So there's no time to hold on to the hogs when they're in that pipeline.
Yeah.
So they're talking about euthanizing a lot of our hogs. So so we do need to get those open as soon as
so it's not an either or. You can't stay at home and not work. You have to do both, right?
So we got to keep working. Yeah.
Is Nebraska open? I'm not sure. It's like
Nebraska's not a shelter-in-place mandate. It's recommended to stay in the best you can. But it's one of the 6 or 7 states that has a little more lenient policy.
People out of D.C. don't realize the dynamics between the GOP and the Congressional Black Caucus on these major issues. What is your opinion? Maxine Waters, they've been a lot involved in getting the bills done and the bipartisanship.
Yeah. Because I've not been here in committees. That's a good question. I haven't seen that dynamic. It should be, because I think there's some overlap. There should be overlap.
Yeah.
And I've worked with the Congressional Black Caucus on a few bills that I thought were important and they were conducive. So, but I haven't been here to know the gears on that, so you got me on that.
Yeah, rural and urban America are allied, right?
Yeah, it should be. We got to put food on the table.
Yeah, and get people working. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Well, again.
Hey, on China, how concerned are you? They seem to be making a lot of aggressive moves in the South China Seas at this point.
Yeah, we should be concerned. I don't like to see them as an adversary, but they don't share our values, and I think they're trying to throw their weight around in their area, and our allies deserve us to make sure we're showing some presence.
Yeah, because they're putting out ships in the South China. I mean, in this time, you'd think they would.
Right. Yeah. Now their values aren't ours, and they're throwing their weight around. So.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey.
How you doing? How fair do you think the stimulus package is for all Americans at this point?
It's still probably going to create some difficulty. for some minorities. Even though we put money in the CDFI
Yeah.
and we put money, 60 billion, trying to help, but if you don't have a relationship with a bank,
So it's getting our people banked. I mean, I saw like Industrial Bank and these minority-owned banks are getting some of the money, right? Are they getting enough of it?
we don't know because we don't. I mean, we got it. People have got to go and try to get it, and a lot of them are frustrated. I just got a call with my staff.
Yeah.
People are frustrated because independent contractors are being excluded. Well, they're supposed to be able to get access to money now, but
Because if we don't protect the poorest of society, we'll never get over it.
that's right.
Because these people have to work, they have to do things. The rich are getting infected, they're in the Hamptons now, but the poor people are doing their work, and those are the people that we have to take care of.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be taken care of, right?
I'm
Homeless,
Absolutely.
our urban community.
Yeah, and I got a bunch of pastors dying now because they went to a conference in Kansas City, Kansas, on the other side of the river 2 weeks ago, and this morning I get a phone call. Reverend Marvin Jackson just died.
Aye.
It's
How about what the Koreans said? We should have daily testing. Our National Guards can give it. Everybody.
he doesn't want it.
Who?
The man down the street with the orange.
Yeah, but the National Guard is also your guard too. It's our guard. There's all our citizens.
It used to be.
But you can ask the president to bring the National Guard, activate it for this?
We should have already done it.
They have in most states.
Yeah, not an hour.
Thank you, King. How you doing?
You're fine. Got to save pot here.
I know. How worried are you in your district? You're one of the hardest hit and probably the most at risk of almost anywhere except
This is rough. We have to get the full federal compensation for this stuff.
because of the Long Island.
Yeah, we have over 50,000 cases on Long Island. We have about 2,500 deaths already.
And what do you think of Cuomo's handling this? I mean, it seems.
He's doing well. Overall he's doing good. Yeah.
But having more National Guardsmen out there.
I don't know. But he's doing a good job.
All right.
Now, I came to D.C. today on behalf of the frontline workers, not just the nurses and doctors, but the folks keeping our nursing homes running, and our boxes delivered, and our pantry shelves full, and our peoples transported. I came here on behalf of my constituents. I don't like this. On behalf of... What's wrong? I said peoples instead of people. Because I want to do the transit workers in it.
Okay, do you have enough space and time?
Yeah, I got it.
Alright. Sorry, that's on the stove.
Yeah, this is how sausage is. Damn, that's heavy. Ready? Tell me when to start.
Okay.
I came to D.C. today on behalf of frontline workers, not just nurses and doctors, but the folks keeping our nursing homes open, and our boxes delivered, and our pantry shelves full, and our people transported. I came here on behalf of my constituents in New Jersey, the nation's second biggest COVID-19 hotspot. I came here on behalf of the communities of color who are being hit harder by this virus and by the economic toll this pandemic is taking on our country. I came here to be their voices because they don't have lawyers, they don't have lobbyists, and they don't have accountants, and they're not being heard. The message they want us to understand is that this bill is not enough. And as important as it is to extend support to small businesses and hospitals, we are failing millions of others by coming to this floor to debate a bill that includes nothing for them. I have sent letters and joined countless others urging this body to step up for the communities that are most impacted by this crisis, both directly with infections and complications and indirectly as unrecognized and unprotected essential workers. I have drafted legislation on my own and I've joined others on their bills. The solutions are out there on paper and ready to be considered. We have to find the will to pass them, not in a few weeks or further down the road, but with urgency. We shouldn't be debating only the Paycheck Protection Program today. We should be debating hazard pay for essential workers and hospital teams who continue to serve our families and the individuals who are impacted by this pandemic. Mortgages, rent relief, and other assistance that needs to be sent to those Americans who are suffering mightily. I plan to vote for this bill despite the fact that it has shortcomings, and I hope that my colleagues will do the same. But this bill simply puts...
Congresswoman, on the question of hazard pay for workers, isn't the whole, hospital CEOs and trustees really responsible for this? We've seen Mount Sinai where the chairman of the CEO is phoning it in from Palm Beach, Florida, and they made $7 and $10 million a year, and they're getting bailout money for the recovery. So shouldn't they be on the front line making sure that the nurses in the front line get the masks?
Absolutely.
I mean, they're the CEOs. They're being paid.
Right.
All right, will you be making those calls? I mean,
You know what? That's a good question. This is my deputy chief of staff. Share some info with her. And
Trump does it all the time in his news conference. He got all this stuff from 3M by naming them and shaming them.
Yeah, but that's why we need the Defense Production Act. We wouldn't have to worry about it if he would just invoke it.
A congresswoman of the United States is quite an important and powerful person.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, I know so. More powerful than a CEO. You earned your... No? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam.
Hey, Congressman, how you doing?
Good to see you, brother.
So you think this bill is as fair as it can get, or it should be fairer?
Well, like any piece of legislation, you get it done, you make the deal, and you go back and make necessary corrections.
Because the whole world's depending on you now.
I know. This won't be the last installment, though.
And are you worried about... One of the things we're seeing is the White House is looking at blocking the merger between Fiat Chrysler and Peugeot for CFIUS grounds.
No. Who are you with?
Capital Intel.
Capital Intel. Okay, good.
Are you for that? American jobs, does Peugeot has Chinese interests?
I'll give your info to Copeland.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, brother.
You got a lot of automotive jobs in India.
You're damn right.
And having the French take over and all the jobs?
America first.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. On a story, it looks like the White House is looking at the Fiat Chrysler merger with Peugeot to block it on CFIUS grounds.
I haven't seen any of that.
Because it's a major merger. Peugeot has Chinese influence and American jobs.
Haven't seen any of it, so you're asking the wrong guy. But I will check it out.
On the CFIUS ground.
It's getting wet out here.
Yep. Hey, Congressman.
Yes, sir.
Peter Summer, hi, with Capital Intel. I have a question.
Yes.
We're hearing that the White House is looking at blocking the merger between Fiat Chrysler and Peugeot on CFIUS grounds. One, because the French have Chinese shareholders in their thing, and then the American jobs, and these guys are forcing through the merger even with COVID.
I have not heard about that.
You haven't?
Nope. Haven't heard anything about it.
Okay, this is like Mnuchin and Trump and Navarro.
God knows what Trump's doing.
All right. Congressman, how you doing, sir? I was asking, how bad will this oil price be on the fracking industry in West Virginia in general?
Devastating. Devastating.
What can we do?
Let me think about it. A quick answer on that.
Because the president's buying for the strategic oil reserves.
That'll take care of it. They got to find a way to storage, and that's where we were. Anyway, it's complicated because we were going to use the underground storage for ethane storage.
Yeah.
And maybe, and I talked with Roulette, maybe we could use that for underground for the strategic or the SPRO. Maybe we could use that for SPRO.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.